So, have you ever been there? You're trying to buy a new car, a PlayStation, maybe just your favorite coffee, and nope, can't get it. It kind of feels like the entire world's delivery system just put up a permanent out of office sign, right? Well, today we're going to get into exactly why our global supply chains are so brittle, and more importantly, how some incredible AI is learning to see the next big shortage coming and maybe even stop it. Let's dive in. I mean, it all really hit home a few years ago, didn't it? A health crisis starts in one corner of the globe, and suddenly there are no microchips to be found. And no chips means, well, no new cars, no new computers, no new phones. It was a massive wake-up call that showed us just how connected and, how fragile we all really are. And it's not just pandemics. Geopolitical tensions can just flare up overnight and boom, instantly. Critical supplies of energy, grain, raw materials, they can get choked off. These things happening thousands of miles away have a direct, immediate impact on what we can buy and how much we pay for it, right in our own neighborhoods. And at the end of the day, what does that mean for us? It means empty shelves. It means seeing that out-of-stock notice online again. It means frustrating waits for stuff we completely used to take for granted. It's this constant reminder that the whole system we depend on is basically walking a tightrope. Which, of course, brings us to the big question, the one we're here to answer. Why? In this age of unbelievable technology, why are the networks that move everything we own around the planet so incredibly easy to break? To figure that out, we've got to look under the hood of the system itself. So here's the thing. It's not just one problem. It's this incredibly complex, tangled web of risks. A tiny little snag in one part of that web can cause a massive worldwide traffic jam. This slide here, this is the perfect picture of what they call the domino effect. Just think about it. A single supplier in one country fails. A key shipping port hits a major bottleneck. A sudden cyber attack shuts down a logistics network. See, each of those is just one domino. But because the system is so tightly wound, one domino tipping over can trigger this massive cascade that brings the whole chain to a grinding halt. That's what the experts call systemic risk. Okay, so the old way of doing things, clearly not cutting it anymore. But the good news is there's a huge shift happening right now. Companies are moving away from building these brittle systems and are instead creating resilient ones. And this whole new strategy, it starts with a totally different goal in mind. For decades, the name of the game was simple: efficiency. It was all about just-in-time delivery, keeping almost zero extra inventory, and just slashing costs down to the absolute bone. Yeah, it was lean, but it was also incredibly fragile. The new goal? It's resilience. It's about being proactive instead of reactive. It's about having the built-in capacity to adapt, and it's all driven by smart, data-led decisions. So what do we even mean by resilience, really? Well, it's the ability not just to take a punch, but to get back on your feet and fast. It's about keeping things running during a crisis and bouncing back to full strength as soon as it's over. Now, a huge piece of resilience is flexibility. Think of this like always having a plan B and a plan C and D. If your main shipping route gets blocked, can you instantly pivot to another one? If one factory shuts down, can you shift that production somewhere else without missing a beat? That's flexibility. And then you've got agility. This one is all about speed. Agility means using real-time data from sensors, from the market, to feel a disruption as it's happening, or maybe even before it happens, and then making a quick, decisive move to get out ahead of it. This chart shows a really important but kind of subtle difference. A system can be robust, strong and unbending, like a concrete wall. It can take a lot of pressure, but at a certain point, it just breaks. A resilient system, though, is more like a willow tree in a storm. It's dynamic. It bends with the shock. It adapts to the pressure, and it survives to grow even stronger. So how in the world do you build a system that can bend but not break? This is where the tech gets seriously cool. We're talking about building an AI-powered prediction engine that basically acts as a global early warning system. Man, we've come a long way. Back in the pre-digital era, the only strategy was just keep extra stuff in a warehouse. Totally reactive. Then, the digital era gave us eyes and ears on the ground with sensors and IoT devices. But today, we're in the AI native era. We're building systems that don't just see what's happening now, they're predicting what's coming next. Okay, so how does this AI engine actually work? It's basically a 5-step loop. First, it senses. It's pulling in data from millions of sources, everything from weather patterns to financial markets to social media buzz. Second, it predicts, using machine learning to figure out the chances of a disruption. Third, it assesses, boiling all that down to a single composite risk score. Fourth, it recommends the best way to respond. And finally, and this is key, it monitors the outcome and just keeps learning, getting smarter and smarter with every event. And the technology under the hood here is just wow. We're talking high-accuracy models that can predict if a specific supplier is heading for trouble. It's using deep learning that can spot negative trends developing over time. And my personal favorite, these network models that can literally draw you a map of the entire supply web, showing you exactly how one tiny risk could ripple through the whole system. On top of all that, it uses privacy-first techniques, so companies can learn from each other's data without ever having to share it directly. So smart. All right, that is some seriously impressive tech. But what does it actually look like when you put it to work in the real world? Let's check out this AI in action. One of the biggest applications is something called a digital control tower. Honestly, the best way to think of this is like air traffic control, but for all of global trade. It's this one single dashboard that gives a company a complete end-to-end real-time view of every part, every shipment, and every partner across their entire network. It takes this huge ocean of data and turns it into one clear picture. But the next level up from just seeing things is simulating them. And that's the digital twin. This is essentially a perfect virtual copy, a simulation of your entire physical supply chain. It's like a crash test dummy for your whole business. You can throw all these crazy what-if scenarios at it. A port shuts down, a supplier goes bankrupt, a new pandemic hits, and you can see exactly where the system breaks. It lets you fix your weaknesses before a real crisis ever happens. And you know, this isn't just some far-off sci-fi concept. These technologies are making a huge difference right now across tons of industries. We're talking automotive, e-commerce, and crucially, making sure hospitals get life-saving medicines on time. And what's really important is that these tools are becoming available for small and medium-sized businesses too, so everyone can start building more resilient operations. So, we've gone from this fragile world to a more resilient one. But the journey doesn't actually stop there. The ultimate goal, the kind of holy grail in this whole field, is to build what's called an anti-fragile supply chain. Now this is a total game changer of an idea. See, resilience is about bouncing back to where you were before. Anti-fragility is about taking those shocks, that stress, that chaos, and using it to become stronger and better than before. An anti-fragile system doesn't just survive a crisis, it learns from it, it adapts, and it evolves into something even more capable. And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. This future we're talking about, it isn't about AI replacing people, not at all. The goal is to build hybrid systems where these powerful prediction algorithms and experienced human decision makers work together in harmony. It's all about augmenting our intelligence, not replacing it. So, what does this all add up to? It means, for the first time, we have the tools to stop just reacting to crises and actually start anticipating them. And that leaves us with one last, pretty big question to chew on. If we can really see the next global disruption coming, can we finally build a world without shortages?